I see you smile. I bet that takes you way back, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. All
Can
you
you-
have to do is down to just pull out the cover of it, man.
yeah, I saw the cover. Like the style is different, man. You know what era that's from. What was it about your upbringing that put you onto the pathway of being a producer and music in general?
Really, I grew up in New Jersey, in East Orange, New Jersey to be exact. My parents are both, they grew up in Jamaica, Queens, New York, but they are originally both of them, which is weird. Weird. They both grew up in Jamaica, Queens. They met in Jamaica, Queens, but they are also both of them are from South Carolina.
Mm.
So,
Mm.
and yeah, different parts of South Carolina. One's from St. George, South Carolina. My mother's from St. George, and my father's from Chester, South Carolina. So we used to go to South Carolina down in Chester like every summer. And my father, 8-track tapes, that's gonna date me. So he would play 8-track tapes, he would play music all the way down the whole trip. And that's what got me into music, just listening to him singing his songs, playing those classic records, playing that great R&B music. And I just, I fell in love with music, period. Just from that alone.
Okay, so then of course you formed the group, the New Style, right? Talk to us about how, well, of course, with Vinny and Tretch. Talk to us about how that group was formed.
Right. So I'm a year older than them. I
Mm-hmm.
was in the 11th grade. They were in the 10th grade. And I wanted to do, yeah, all right. So actually it wasn't 11. I did the 11th grade talent show, but when we did our thing as New Style, it was actually my senior year. So I was a senior, Vin and Tretch were juniors. And I was in a talent show, like I said, once again, and I didn't want to do it just by myself as a DJ, just DJing in a talent show.
Mm.
So as I was rehearsing and for the talent show, Vin would be breakdancing across the street from me with a guy that I grew up with, named Ski, him and Loke and all those guys. And I mean, I always knew Vin. Vin, I was from 18th Street, Vin was from 15th Street, 3 blocks away from me. And we all went to the same elementary school and everything. So we basically grew up. We knew each other's family. And as I was practicing for it and they were breakdancing, I caught Vin over one day and I was just like, hey, why don't you beatbox? And I want to scratch. I want to try something because I'm not sure if I really want to just be a DJ in this talent show. I want to do something different. Maybe I'll do it with you beatboxing and me scratching just to do something different. So we started practicing and messing around and doing stuff with it. So as we were doing it, I was just like, all right, well, let's take it a step further. Maybe we should add an MC, have somebody come out and rhyme or do something. And he was like, I know a guy in my health class named Tiny T. This guy named Tiny that's in my health class. So that's when he brought Tretch over. But his name was Tiny at the time, as you can hear. His name was Tiny at the time. And he brought I knew Tretch too as well in school, but I didn't really know him, like that, because he wasn't in my class. He was in Vin's class. And then, he grew up on a different side of town from us. So he didn't go to elementary school with me and Vin. He went to a different, we didn't meet up until high school. So Vin knew more of him as an MC. I just knew he was a rapper from around the way.
Mm-hmm.
But we started rehearsing, we brought Tretch in and we started rehearsing, and that was the beginning of the New Style. And when we did that talent show, we didn't even have a name. Like I said, I was just supposed to be DJing. So when we went out there, we we started off our routine, and Tretch said some kind of intro, and he rhymed, and he said something, whatever. And then after he said his routine and his piece, I scratched in, it's the New Style. And then
Right.
we went further into the routine. And after we did the talent show, it went over well. And people just started asking us to start doing more talent shows around the way and getting into tough teen challenges and all that different thing. And we didn't have a name. So since we had did scratched in the New Style, we just said, all right, well, let's call ourselves the New Style.
Wow, that's very organic. So
Yeah.
at what point, well, before I ask you this question, just to clarify, the events you just described, what age? I'm assuming you're around 18, 19 at this point.
17.
17. Okay, so then at what point did you decide, okay, do you know what? Let's take this thing serious. Let's be a hip hop group. Let's enter the music industry.
Um, uh, After we got out of high school.
Okay, okay,
After we
okay.
got out, because as the new style, we just started doing talent shows, and it was slowly progressing, and we were starting to get together. It took us a while. We started getting our rhythm. We started winning talent shows. We started winning over the town, and we started winning the talent shows so much because originally they had the crowds judging the talent shows.
Mm-hmm.
So we started building up our home base in our area, and the people became fans. So we would win a lot of the talent shows because we had the fans. And then they started changing the rules because they said, well, we gotta bring in celebrity judges. We gotta bring in somebody else because we can't let the crowd do it anymore because New Style has the audience now. Like
Mm-hmm.
everybody already loved them, so they're gonna vote for them. So then they started bringing in judges and celebrity guys. That's where Queen Latifah and Biz Markie and all of the local guys started coming into play, and they started seeing us, and Master Ace, different guys like that. They started coming as judges and started seeing us, and we started getting on the map.
And they basically started seeing the same thing that your fans were seeing as well. So it,
Yes.
it
Yeah.
made sense. It made sense, man.
Yeah.
So what I now want to ask you is this, right? So around 18, you make the decision that, okay, this is something we want to take serious. What was your parents' reaction towards that? Were they supportive? Were they a bit
Totally.
totally?
Totally support them. Totally. Yeah, they supported us. I mean, like I said, when I started off, I used to DJ on the sun porch and they used to break dance across the street. They never got on me. They just they supported me. Long as I was doing something and staying out of trouble, they were like, great, this is what you want to do. Okay, I don't really understand it or fully, but if that's what you love to do, they did know that I went and saw the movie Wild Style and all that stuff. And that's why, I even actually fell in love with the culture, period. So they understood it and they knew they didn't know it because they were older, but they kind of had a sense of what was going on.
And then to what extent did they envision that you guys, Naughty by Nature, will reach the heights that you ended up doing? Because you tell your parents, okay, this is what I want to do. And they're gonna be
Yeah.
supportive, like, yeah, okay, sure, sure. But in the back of their mind, they might be like, I don't know if this will really happen. So to what extent was that the case for your parents?
Nah, they totally support us. I mean, they never, I mean, if they did feel like that, they at least my mother, at least my parents, because my house was the hub. Like I said, I was the DJ, so I had the equipment there. So Vin and Tretch would come over to my house all the time. They support, I mean, my parents, I mean, Vin and Tretch will tell you, they supported us from day one, allowed us to rehearse in there. My father would work 7 days a week, come home and still allow us to, rehearse and just be there. So I appreciate that from both of them, and they appreciate it as well. I mean, they supported us from the door and all through the journey. But I don't know if
They
at
really
what point
foresaw.
they felt like it was real, because I
Mm,
mean, even with us, I mean, we when we did the new style stuff, it didn't work.
mm.
So yeah, it didn't work at all. It didn't work at
Why
all.
do you think it didn't work?
We didn't really have the structure, really, to be honest.
Mm,
The type of situation that it was the old Sugar Hill
yeah.
records. It was the old Sugar Hill records. They did a like a kind of like a settlement deal with MCA. So basically, they just was filling their pipeline, just saying, okay, in order for us to get our money from you guys from MCA, here's a group. They didn't promote us. They didn't do anything with us.
Was it
They just
difficult? Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, they just, they gave us, I mean, I do appreciate the opportunity because it allowed us to at least get our feet wet. It allowed me as a producer to go into the studio fully. And even if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have met Dave. That's Dave Bolocchio. That's Dave drop a load on him. I wouldn't have met Dave. I wouldn't have had a place to go once we got away from them, to go back to Dave, because Dave had the studio, and say, Dave, I'm gonna pay for our stuff myself. Now it don't have nothing to do with them, but we want to work with you and we want to work. I need to work here at this studio. I like your studio. We got a vibe. So I mean, as much as it seemed like it could have been a negative, it was actually a positive as well.
Okay. And then last question before we move on to the next song. Of course, you were signed with Sugar Hill Records, as you just described. How difficult was it to get that deal in the first place?
It wasn't that difficult because at the end of the day, we actually got that situation through another MC from around our way named Mike C. Mike
Right.
C was one of the other guys that we used to battle against, and I don't know how he got introduced to them, but they signed him. And
Okay.
then he said, "Okay, I know this other group that's around the way that's hot. I mean, you guys should check them out." So we went up there, met Sylvia Robinson, met them over there, and they signed us over there. But like I
Okay.
said, like looking back at it now, there was never really no attempt to try to make it happen. I mean, if you understand even how, and once I even later in the game understood it more, once I got my production deal, I understood what happened to us.
Okay, makes sense. Now, before we move on to the next song, does anybody want to ask a quick question before we move in relation to what we've been talking about? Anybody? Don't be shy now. I'll give you 5 seconds. All right, go. Oh, damn, that video quality is looking clean, bro.
Crazy, right?
You need to tell me what you're using, man, because nah, my camera ain't doing. I'm the host. Like, my camera's got to be on your level, bro. Shit.
Okay, bro. Want me to switch to my phone?
Like, talk your shit though. Your mic isn't that clear though.
It's not.
Nah, it's not.
That's a.
At least my mic is better than your mic, but go ahead.
Wait. How about now?
Oh,
Yeah,
all right,
there you
okay.
go.
There we go. Go ahead,
I got
bro.
2 mics on the desk. I had the wrong one turned up.
Oh, okay. That's what's up.
That's my fault. That's my fault. Nah, man. So we ain't even got to stick on this long. Was he actually tiny? Because he been muscular as shit the entirety of Naughty by Nature's career. So was he actually tiny at the time?
Yeah, he was.
Or was it a joke? Was it a funny
No, he was tiny.
That's hilarious, man.
He was tiny.
I couldn't even picture Treach without the.
Yeah, no, he was tiny. You're young at the time. We 17, 16, 18, 17 at that point and coming through. I mean, if you go back to probably everybody on his, the high school years, everybody was just super small and just small. Like, so
My only other one would be then is particularly while we speaking about y'all being in high school, was there anybody else that broke out or made it into the industry that was also at y'all school too, or was it just y'all?
Hakeem Green from Channel Live. Hawk was my boy. Yeah, me and Hawk was we're in class together. Yeah, Hawk is was in my grade in my class 87. Yeah, me and Hawk. And Hawk always talk about it. Like I would come to school with records and show him, all these different albums and all that. And Hawk was in the club music. I was the one that even put Hawk into hip hop. I introduced him to hip hop.
The crazy part about that is just hearing that. I don't know everybody else ages necessarily, but here in class of 87, and I was born in 87, just blew me.
All right, thanks. Sorry, go ahead. You want to say something, DJ KG?
Nah.
Okay, cool. My bad. All right, guys, we're gonna move on to the next song. Okay, just to let you guys know, full disclosure, I'm planning to go through 15 songs of DJ KG's catalog. So hopefully we get through all of them today. All right, so I think the next sample I'm about to play is probably going to be the easiest one for you guys to guess, right? If you've been following Naughty by Nature's career and you know the timeline, I think you know what I'm going to play next, right? So it's all about a question about who gets to their mic first. All right, let's do this.